me. So,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and you see, I got my paper towel.
oh, that's me. That you see what I have a tank top on.
So, where are you located? I know you're in Central, but are you in the South or?
I am in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, you're in Chicago. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So, how's the weather there?
It's been 70, 80 degrees here.
Okay.
I just been standing in the house because me and heat.
Okay.
Because then I'm gonna make everybody life miserable because I'm miserable.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Been there, done that. I get it. So yeah, so I'm on the East Coast. I'm in New York, and
Okay.
today is our. It was 85 today. So.
Really? In New
Mhm.
York?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how it goes down here.
Okay.
So I do my intro. Then after I'm done with my intro, I will tell you to introduce yourself, tell me the genre that you write in, and anything you want us to know, after that. And
Okay.
then we'll get into the questions.
Okay.
All right? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, hey fam, welcome back to another episode of Negro in Distress, Black Girl Tired Book Talk, where we highlight black indie voices, challenge the publishing gatekeepers, and censor the stories that speak to our truth. I'm your host, Storm, and today's guest is an absolute sweetheart. Her name is Allor Henrique. I said it right?
Henrique.
Henrique. I've been fucking up your name the whole entire Allure Henrique. She is in the indie romance space. She writes short stories that pack a punch filled with black love, family, drama, and growth, all wrapped up in page turners that don't overwhelm but leave you feeling seen and satisfied. Please help me welcome her and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you. Just a little tad bit so I can get into the questions.
Sure. Again, my name is Allor Henrique. I write romance. And my particular niche right now, I am writing for the grown and sexy people, 40s and older, finding love for the second time around. Maybe it's the third time around. Maybe it's the fifth time around. Listen, they're going to do it till they get it right. Okay. So that is what I write about. And I started writing. I started writing a while ago. First published in 2020. I have 6 published works thus far, and I'm in the midst of writing my 7th.
Okay, now. Okay. So let's get into the questions. So I want to say once again, thank you for being here today. Let's start right at the beginning. Who are you and how did the journey into writing begin for you?
Okay, so um, I really didn't learn about me until I was well in my 40s. Doing all the roles, mother, wife, yada, yada, yada. And I started reading romance. I want to say it was definitely 2012. And I mean, I ate it up. Ate it up when I tell you, I was like, I knew it had to be better. So I ate it up. And literally one day I was walking home from the train station and I had a vision of this couple in this embrace. And immediately it was like I knew the story. I knew why the woman had the look she had on her face. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going home to write this. So that was 2014. I went home and I wrote that whole scene. And then I wrote another scene. And then these people in my head started getting friends and relatives and yada, yada, yada. And then I had all these people living in my head that was just telling me, okay, you need to write this down, lady. So I wrote what I thought was my first book in 2014. Had no idea about publishing, had no idea what to do with it. I think it was probably 15,000 words.
Mm.
So no clue, sat on it and had the pleasure of being in a group with author Stephanie Nicole Norris. Challenge issued a challenge, and I stepped up. And she said, "If you want to write a book, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna teach you. Yada yada yada." I stepped up to it, and hence my first published work, which was Love in the Air, which was part of a holiday snack series in collaboration with other writers writing their own short stories as well.
Oh, I got questions about that series. I got
Okay.
questions, but we'll get into that one. So, and now, where do you see yourself as a writer today? Like, what growth or shift are you proudest of since you found out that the pen was your friend? What does that look like?
So, love writing romance. However, my last book I published, I added a bit of a
Suspense.
mystery crime element to it, and I was very proud of myself. I dug in and I learned a lot more about story structure. Just creating the drama, character development. I've learned that within the last couple of years, and very very proud of the journey, and I love it. When I tell you I love it, I love it.
Mm.
I see so much more coming. I got this whole, I don't know if I would call it paranormal, normal, but I'll tell you about that maybe a little later.
Oh,
Got this
oh,
whole
oh, yeah,
idea in the back of my head.
you know you speaking my language.
I know. And that's, listen, because I watch your podcast, I've learned about, I was like, wait a minute, black people write sci-fi? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to, I'm gonna say it. I had to download Eva O'Hare's book,
Oh.
and the listen. I'm like, yo, I didn't know this was out here.
Eva,
Um,
Eva O'Hare, Nikki Clark, and Solar Black in the
okay,
sci-fi alien space. Oh
okay.
my.
I was like, who knew? I mean, I had no clue. So, and then, and I've always watched, like, I've always liked, uh, vampires and things like that. I didn't know black people did that. So, I saw the gentleman the other night on your podcast.
Oh, you talking about Marcus Redman?
No, no, no. Rashad.
Rashad Hemingway?
Is it? Yes, him. Yeah. So I
Hmm.
picked up his book, and then I was under the tutelage of T Styles a while back,
Hmm.
and I was in her writing group a while back. Meaning, she was. That's where I learned most of, how to do story structure and things like that, and disciplining myself as a writer. I learned all of that from her. So it's been wonderful, and I just didn't realize there was so much out there. I'm so excited to, just delve into different genres.
Yeah, I always tell people you have to diversify your palette. Love is great. It really is. But love comes in different forms, even supernatural. So, even in speculative fiction. So why not, diversify your palette? I swear you'll never want to turn back from it once you do. But okay, you've written quite a few short novellas and short
Hmm.
stories.
Hmm.
Would you say that's your signature? What is it about that format that speaks to your creativity, and how do you give us full arcs, big emotions, and satisfying endings without overwhelming the reader?
I just felt like when I sat down and I went to take that first story I wrote to try to make it a novel,
Hmm.
it was a lot. And I didn't realize, I just figured, okay, it's going to flow because I have all these scenes in my head, whatever. But I had to really learn, like the character arc, and I really had to learn that and try to figure out how to, because I mean, literally, when I started, the characters were just perfect. They were just like, and I was like, yeah. Somebody told me, he was like, no, you got to show growth, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like um, I haven't gotten to where I should be as far as doing it well. I can see in my earlier work how I kind of rushed it. But with all that I'm learning in the stories I'm reading, etc., I'm learning better to slow it down and to kind of take you on that. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but it's smooth.
Yeah. So from Love in the Air with Venus and Robert, and to the emotional layers of your Black Diamond MC series, especially with what's their name? Lena and Nichelle.
Yeah, Lena and Nichelle.
You do such a beautiful job of mixing love, drama, suspense, and growth. What's your process when crafting those emotionally dense, yet the digestible stories that are just they're small but they pack a punch?
Thank you. Thank you. Um, I literally be in here talking out loud, not acting it out, but having a conversation out loud, and just trying to see, okay, does that make sense? Does that seem right? Do people say that? Whatever, and just trying to bring what I believe is to be, the reality and real conversations and things. Like they're sisters. I mean, so it was like they were, kind of picking at each other, and
Mhm.
the whole went from encouraging each other to really, kind of Lena. I was it Lena or I forget which. Oh Lord. Pretty much having to tell her sister, listen, this is your opportunity. You better go get it. Period.
Yeah,
Not being so hard
yeah,
on him or yourself, whatever the case may be.
yeah. So, out of everything in your catalog, which book is your personal favorite, and why does it hold that place in your heart?
I want to say Venus Rising.
Mm,
That was that story from back in 2014 when I had that vision that I ended up expanding, but yet I knew very little about storytelling. I want to say that's my favorite because that was like the most authentic thing that came, and a lot of those scenes came from pain, for my own pain. So I want
mm,
to say, me wishing that were me, basically.
yeah,
So that's I want to say that's my favorite. However, I see my growth in the last story in Renee's Dark Knight. I see my growth. I see how I added a subplot and was able to weave that together. And I think I did a good job. I feel like I did a good job with the character Renee because it was some stuff in the background that I didn't reveal until later on. So,
mm,
I feel like I handled it well. And I feel like I've grown. I do more showing than telling, I think, now.
yeah, yeah. So now on the flip side, what's the hardest book you've written, and what made it so challenging for you emotionally or creatively?
Um, I want to say the most difficult one was, I want to say Lisa's Fortunate Heart because I wrote it, I started that back in like 2015 or whatever. And I got to a point, I didn't like it. I really didn't. I was like, okay, where is this going? I mean, because I didn't have the end in mind. I really didn't have
Hmm.
a good ending in mind. And then something happened in my life personally. I was
Hmm.
like, I'm using that. And baby, baby, yes. And that became the inspiration for the ending. And so I had a clear path. So I just had to, fill in. And I don't write like, I'll write a scene. And then, okay, I think that's going to be the beginning or toward the beginning. I kind of write disjointed scenes. But once I know that ending, then I know where to put these scenes. And,
Mm,
and then pull them together. And to me, it's amazing
yeah,
to see
yeah,
how the characters and the story tells you where it wants to go and how you gonna put it together. It's
yeah.
I love it.
So let's talk characters. Like,
Uh-huh.
what makes a female character stand out to you? What qualities must she have to take up space in your stories?
She has to be flawed, but it's also a secret that she's flawed. So it's like, she's flawed. She knows she's flawed. But
Mm-hmm.
she's, she got that mask on. She's putting on that mask. And as you read the story, then you get to see, wait a minute, what's up with that?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, why did she do that? And then it's like, then you kind of see her, I kind not pick her apart, but then you get to see the lower layers, the
Mm.
underneath layers. So
Okay. Okay. And the men, like, what makes a love interest truly feel worthy of the journey you put him on? Are are there core traits or a type of emotional depth you look for when writing your male leads?
my males are persistent
Mm-hmm.
and they are consistent.
Mm.
So, I mean, at one point, I think I was like, okay, Robert's getting a little creepy. He's just showing up. So I'm like, okay, let me back off with that a little bit. Because, so I'm like, okay, you know what? But that's the big thing. And that was important is that they were persistent. They didn't
Mm.
give up. They didn't say, oh, well, and they were consistent. They showed up well too. And, you know, because they knew, and that was at the end of the day, they knew that that was their woman, and
Yeah.
they were going to do what they had to do to make her realize it.
So let's talk
It's
about.
Lance and Renee, so he
Mm.
knew the last
Yeah.
one. He knew that was his woman.
Yeah. Okay. I can't skip this part. Um, and can't I can't go past without talking about the family aspect that you like to draw into the books, because with Lena and Michelle's story and a lot of the characters in your books, you have the family dynamic is just as impactful as the romantic one. So, what role does family play into shaping how you write love?
So I grew up as an only child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel like that was, and then I had my, as a young preteen, I met two girls. Well, I met them before, but became close to these two women, my two best friends, forever to this day.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, who she and I are super, super close. So pretty much, my characters, my female characters, I just was reminded of my best friendships, and my,
Mm-hmm.
and so I wanted to, and I wanted to keep them close, and I wanted to keep them in proximity to each other so they could, raise their kids and stuff together, yada, 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 stuff we dreamed of as children,
Yeah.
or as teenagers and didn't happen. But I wanted my characters to be like that. And I wanted those families to be close and, just have those lifelong connections.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on all of that.
I like that though. Your books center Black love unapologetically. What do you think sets stories like yours apart from white romance books, especially when it comes to emotional honesty, cultural nuance, and heart?
So I don't really read white romance. And I may have in the past. I may have in the past. Um, so I feel like we get each other. We get it. And there's
Mm.
stuff in our stories, in our lives that is just so unique to us. And I freaking love that.
Mm.
So I bring that stuff into it. I'm trying to think of a really good, everybody does that though. Trying to think of a really good example. Just, oh my goodness. I feel like we just a lot of times we speak our own language, and
Yeah.
I love that. I love that about us, and I think I kind of touch on that in I don't even know which story. I want to say Lisa's story, and it's like she's half black, half Latina,
Hmm.
but she's kind of country. So and I love that.
Hmm.
So I feel like I don't know. I feel like that is what makes it unique for us because I'm speaking about us to us.
I like that. I like that. You also have a few holiday romances under your belt. What is it about love during the holidays that feels extra special or magical for you as a writer?
So, Love in the Air was basically, it was a holiday story, even though the cover don't, you can't even tell holiday from the cover, but it was set during Kwanzaa, and it was a Kwanzaa party they had. Um, Kismet in Rome was set around New Year's Eve, and the
Mm-hmm.
big thing happens New Year's Eve. And Diamonds for Christmas. So my big thing is Diamonds for Christmas and Love in the Air. They were both like stories to introduce you to a set of characters. So,
Mm.
what's the best way to introduce several people? A party. So
Yeah.
that was, so, and it just so happened I did Diamonds for Christmas. It was a Christmas party. So
Mm.
you got to see, you saw Nichelle and Mac again. You get more into Lena and her husband, and you meet Rennie. You kind
Mhm.
of you delve into Rennie in there. And so I'm setting you up for what's to come too. I mean,
Yeah.
so so
Okay.
I'm working on that now.
So, in Renee's Dark Knight, you explore a second chance romance.
Mhm.
Was it harder or easier to write a love story that already has a history?
To me, it was easy because it was very personal.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Okay. Do you find yourself drawn to second chance love stories?
Yeah,
And if so, what makes them so powerful, especially when people have to learn how to love each other again?
I feel like, and that's I feel like for Lance and Renee, I don't know. I don't know what the theory is or whatever it is. It's like when you are intimate with someone, like that person never leaves your
It's like
sight.
a soul tie.
Yeah, it's a soul tie. That's exactly what it's called.
Yeah.
So for Lance and Renee, that was just from like their teenage years, and it just, you know, and I feel like Lance never had any closure from when they initially broke up, whatever. So he was always kind of chasing her.
Mm.
Always, he always wanted her. It just, it just was what it was. And then, then he got this chance again. He wasn't going to let it go. So I feel like, you know, it was him that had to like really break her down.
Mm. Okay. Let's talk about fate because you have kismet as one of the words in one of your titles. What's your idea of kismet in a story? What has to align for you to feel like, yes, these two are meant to be?
Hmm. Good question. Good question. Well, um, when I wrote Kismet, I knew that that was the beginning of something,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew it wasn't going to end until much, much later on. So I
Mm.
knew that going in. So I knew it going in. So um, yeah, I don't know. And I think it's just the romantic in me. It's just like you fall in love when you fall in love with the right one. That's
Mm-hmm.
never gonna end.
Oh no. Oh no. I love my husband, but I hate him too. But I don't
Yeah,
want nobody else to have him. The
exactly.
hell? The fuck? No.
And I mean, and yeah, I've been in love. But was it the right one?
Mm.
So I mean, yeah, I still care for that person and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's not kismet. It's not destiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I have that for that person. Um, yeah. So
I think Kismet for me because it spoke to me because my husband and I lived on two sides of different tracks. Literally, he stayed on one side of the track. I stayed on the other side of the track. And growing up, we never met each other. We wound up meeting each other in college, found out our grandfathers, after we started dating,
Isn't that interesting?
found out our grandfathers, both pastors, knew each other and ran in the same circles. But once again,
Y'all never.
we never knew each other. We get to college and one of us start dating and then get engaged and get married. My uncle is like telling us these stories about his grandfather and my grandfather, and I'm just like, what the hell? And mind you, me and my husband are 10 years apart.
Okay.
It was just, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of meant to be, but y'all, I also like the thought of, okay, y'all weren't ready for each other before that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of, think in terms of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, being 10 years apart. Yeah, so
Yeah. So, do you see yourself stepping outside of romance? You talked about going into the paranormal space, the speculative fiction space. Is it just going to be paranormal? Is it going to be sci-fi? Is it going to be suspense? Is it going to be women's fiction or something completely different?
I have this, and I don't know if it's. I don't think it's going to be paranormal. I have this. I don't know what it would be called. I have this idea for some polyamorous people,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be very different. There's a whole backstory, and it's gonna. I hope to actually delve into. I started researching. It's gonna be. There's a whole backstory. It's. I hope something that that nobody's ever seen before. Yeah, yeah, and I'm super interested. I've already kind of started mapping out the details of, because it's really going to be world building, a lot of building in it too.
So, would it be a fantasy?
So it would probably be fantasy, yeah, like a romanticy,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
And
Why
there's going to
choose?
be an aspect of um there's going to be an aspect of the gentleman was talking about, and I was like, wow, why is he talking about that? He talked about watching Black Panther when the Black Panther went to go talk to the ancestors. There's going
Mm-hmm.
to be something like that in there. So
Oh.
we're going to, yeah, I got to do a lot of research. Um, there's going to be that aspect to it too. So yeah, yeah.
Oh. Oh, I
It's
can't wait for that one.
it's really it's definitely building a world for sure.
Mm.
Um, in a very specific culture.
Mm.
So who are very spiritually in touch.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. Have you
Oh,
already started working on it?
um, the backstory is, I know the entire backstory, and I know the entire backstory. I know um like the setting. I know the conflict, and I know the I guess the subplot, because there's
Okay.
going to be some junk going on too. so
Okay.
so I mean, the big themes of it I have mapped out, but the details, and um yeah. So, and there's going to be some language differences.
Hmm.
So did you? I imagine you have read the Children of Blood and Bone series.
Um,
Omi
I,
Adeyemi.
I tried.
Okay.
I
Uh-uh.
tried.
Oh, I want to know your thoughts so bad right now. I loved it, and that was my first ever introduction to fantasy. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I loved it. I loved it. It was for me very different, and to learn about the Orisha was amazing to me, because I mean, yeah, I've heard of it, but I thought the all that the information about the Orisha and the deep dive into that was super interesting to me. So I'll say with that reading that series, that gave me permission for how I want to set up the culture in this
Mm.
story that I'm thinking.
I think Children of Blood and Bone is a good setup to be for anybody that wants to get into fantasy. Yes, I
Okay.
think the book itself was not for me. I did appreciate the aspects of the Orisha. I did, especially the Orishas and the ATRs being acknowledged in the book, because the book is literally for the culture. Whether
Hmm.
it's African or African American, it's still for the culture.
Right.
Um, it just was a little slow and drawn out for me.
Okay.
I loved
Okay.
world building to the utmost. I love fantasy. I loved it to death. But sometimes when they world build, it can get drawn out a little bit before we actually get to what it is and
Okay.
what's
Yeah.
happening. You know, I want the world building, but not so drawn out that I'm like about 40 pages in, and then you get into, okay, this character X, Y, and Z, this is what happening.
Okay.
Because I already know they're gonna go on a journey. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the all fantasy books. There is a
Yeah.
journey. There's something that they have to conquer.
Okay.
So um it just was a little bit too slow for me.
Okay. Okay.
And I even tried to do the audiobook, and I was just like, nope. Nope. It's not
Okay.
my cup of tea. Nope.
Okay.
Maybe when she comes out with the movie, I'll be like,
Hmm.
okay, yeah. But sometimes it takes the movies to do it for me. But
Okay.
yeah, I try to read it like 4 times.
Okay. So your girl right here got the audiobook, downloaded it on my Kindle Fire, and I went to go see the author and when she was here in New York City and got the signed hard copies. Yeah.
I'm proud of her. I'm proud of what she's doing. It's just
Yeah.
not. It's not my speed of fantasy. You know.
Gotcha.
Um. But and I hate to say that because there's not a lot of black fantasy authors. You know what I'm saying? But it just wouldn't.
Yeah, and see that's your joint right there. So for me, a newbie, I was amazed and just and I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I like I said, and I actually when I got a chance to say hello to her, I was like, you know what, just it gave me permission to do the story, my the story I'm thinking of
Mm,
with the language the way I wanted to do it.
mm. When it comes to black authors in fantasy, I just want y'all to be different. I hate when a fantasy author that is of color falls into the whitewash trap. And that's what I call it, the whitewash trap,
Hmm.
because the fantasy starts to sound like a white author wrote it.
Okay.
It does not give the culture in which you are part of. You know, a lot of authors try to stay in that thou does shit,
Oh. Uh huh.
and that is annoying. That is annoying. That's why I can't read Fae books now
Okay. Yeah.
because
Gotcha.
of that. But you know, a black fantasy author has so much cultural relevance, culture to fall on.
Hmm.
They can, and there's so many mythos within the African American culture and the African culture. They ain't got to worry about nobody else's shit.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so that in itself makes me really want to dive into black fantasy so much. And I do read white authors and I do read white fantasy, but it is just something about a black author writing a fantasy book and putting their culture in it.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
It's like you could just feel it. Like it's like almost a spiritual type thing.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what I did get that out of the series because I mean just learning about the Orisha, just the basic stuff about the Orisha, I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's why I want people to write about gargoyles, write about Medusa, and I don't write about her in the European sense.
Okay.
Write about her in the African sense. She was a black woman with locks that was a root woman. That the
Okay.
white people called her hair snakes.
Hmm.
And the Europeans ran with that myth, and here you go with Medusa.
Okay.
So it's same with Shango. Shango is a Orisha.
Hmm.
And he is what Thor is. He is what Zeus is, but it originated from Shango.
Yeah. And I actually saw a documentary about that. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, all the superheroes are originally the black gods, the
Yeah,
African gods. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, looking forward, what's the goal for your career? Like, where do you want to grow or disrupt the most as an author in this industry?
Um. So as I as it is now, my and I don't know, because I think all the authors out there, the authors that I read is probably that much compared to all the black authors out there. I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
Um, However, I'm loving the grown folk. I'm loving pairing up these 40+ year olds,
Come on
and
now.
I'm loving that. And
Come on now.
actually, and I'm like trying to figure out, am I really going to do that? Because I ended Diamonds with Michelle and Lena's mama sneaking
Mhm.
her man out, or the man was leaving out the back door, sneaking the man out the back door. And I'm like, and she's in her 70s, so I'm thinking, am I going there? Am I really gonna go there? I'm thinking no, but hey, why? Maybe not. Who knows?
I mean, Mama gotta have a life too, Jody.
Exactly.
Say, Mama gotta have a life too.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
Yep.
is there any new books in the works you want to tease us about that will be coming out in the near future or in the next year or so?
The black diamonds are coming. The black diamonds are coming. The black
Oh,
diamonds are coming.
okay. Is it going to be a holiday or is it
No,
going to be just full out?
it's going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I'm doing now. I am working on. It's going to be an anthology, so it's going to be like three, maybe four short stories in the next book, and they're all
Mm.
black diamonds. The Black Diamond Motorcycle Club, who are all retired first responders, military, and they have formed this motorcycle club based in Richmond, Virginia. And so now I have some ladies for the Black Diamonds. So I am working on one story. Actually, the story I'm working on now, we see, if anybody's read Venus Rising, we see the woman who's not really too fond of Venus. Her name is Adine. Well, Adine got herself in some trouble, and you know, she needs to be supervised.
Oh.
So we got a black diamond on supervising duty. Um,
Oh.
so I'm working on that story now. We see Rennie in the Diamonds for Christmas story. That Rennie is actually Renee's brother.
Mhm.
He meets a young lady at the party. So we're gonna see what happens with that. And there's there's some stuff with that, and it's going. And she is significantly younger, so see what happens.
Oh.
And who else? Oh, in the Black Diamond story, what was his name? He was patched in at the end of the story. I forget his name. Oh my
So don't let me lie to you.
Psycho. Like his name is Psycho. So anyway, Psycho, he's gonna find a love interest, and her name is Sweetie. So
No.
yeah. So we got. I have like 6 stories in mind for that already. So at least 3 stories in the next book that comes out. So it's gonna be. It's an anthology, right? It's three stories in one book.
Okay. So, any book events coming up where your readers can meet you in person?
Yes, ma'am. So Juneteenth, June 19th, 2025, Beacon, New York, which is in Dutchess County. I will be a vendor at the Juneteenth Festival. I will have my paperbacks. I have 6 published works. 4 of them are available in paperback. I'll be at the festival enjoying the festivities. Stop by, get a book, chat with your girl, tell me your stories because listen, I can flip a story and you won't even know it was yours by the time I finish writing it,
Oh,
okay? Okay. So that is June 19th. July 26th. Boozy Book Tour. I'm going to be at the Boozy Book Tour in Arlington, the Arlington part of the Boozy Book Tour, which is in Fairfax, Virginia, on July 26th. Can't wait to meet you in person, love.
gonna be fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. It looks fun. And actually, there's some other authors that I've never met in person, but we were part of a writing. I had the Elite Writing Academy. They're going to be there. Delia Rouse, Akira Shafan. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. Finally meeting them in person. August 30th, the Hudson Valley Wine and Music Festival. I will be a vendor there, Newburgh, New York. It's an all-day event. Seriously, it's like busloads of people they bring up. Mr. Cheeks is performing.
Mr. Cheeks.
Mr. Cheeks is performing. Vivian Green, and they have a DC Go-Go band that's going to be performing.
Wow.
I mean, these people do a wonderful event. I mean, literally, I stand at my table the whole time. I'm dancing, talking to people. It's a wonderful day out. And
wow.
Again, it's the Hudson Valley Wine and Music Festival in Newburgh, New York.
Okay. Me like you. So let everyone know where they can buy your books and support your work.
Sure. So I'm Allor Henrique. All of my books are sold through Amazon. They're all available in ebook format, and 4 of the 6, Venus Rising, Lisa's Fortunate Heart, Renee's Dark Night, and Kismet in Rome are all available in paperback format as well. That's Allor Henrique. Do I need to spell it? Because I know a lot of people get it mixed up like how I spell my first name.
Well, when it's on YouTube, I'm going to spell it correctly so they don't know.
Okay.
All right. And where can they find you online? And do you have a Facebook group or newsletter where readers can connect and keep up with your latest releases?
I am on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I have a YouTube now. I just started my YouTube channel. So, yeah.
Okay.
Most are under the name Facebook and Instagram, Allor Henrique. I have a Facebook group. Feel free to join. It's called Allor of Romance, and it's ALLOR, Allor of Romance. And, we talk all things romantical. And also, I also like to help encourage people in their other positive life endeavors. My TikTok page is, you can find me under Allor Henrique, but it's now called Allor for My Best Life because I got some other things coming up outside of the fiction writing. So that's Allor for My Best Life, and that is also my YouTube channel is Allor for My Best Life.
Okay. So before we wrap, if you could leave your Black readers with a message about love, self-worth, or healing through your books, what would you say?
It's always possible. I mean, we go through stuff, and when I tell you I've been through stuff, we go through stuff, and there's times that you may feel like, this, relationship thing, it ain't for me, it ain't gonna work, whatever. Oh, but the right one is out there. And I wholeheartedly believe that if you haven't found that person, met that person yet, it's gonna happen. There's somebody out there. The right one is out there for each of us.
Yeah. So finally, when the page closes and the words fade, who is Allor Henrique, the woman behind the pen?
Allor Henrique is a very optimistic person, very enthusiastic. I just want, I'm an Aquarian, I'm a bit of a control freak. I just want to help people and encourage people to do their thing, find their thing and do their thing because life is so short. You have to enjoy it. You have to find the thing that you would do for free every day. And once you find that, there is no stopping you.
Facts. Facts. So to close out, I will say that that's it's for today, y'all. A huge thank you to you for joining us and sharing not only your process and but your heart. If you love this conversation, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share when I put this episode on YouTube with a book lover in your life. And remember, Black stories matter, Black love matters, and indie voices like Allur's deserve to shine. Until next time, I'm Storm, and this has been Negro in Distress Black Girl Book Talk. Stay loved, stay loud, and stay Black on purpose.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you.
No problem. No problem. I do my housekeeping. If you want to stay, you can. If you don't,